pattern because it's toward more maturity. First, you just listen up, then back and forth, you know, one-on-one more or less, then everything being put together, because at the end too, people are going to say, similar to your question, we need to improve this thing somehow. How will art principles help that, you see? Kind of prophetic in a way.
I don't think you have to have a question for yourself.
Oh,
This week.
That's easy.
yeah.
Now,
So then for 2 weeks from now,
here's what we need to do,
okay,
if I may.
yes, please.
First, we have day 10 coming. She has her information.
Do you want to have my heart issue now, or?
Yeah, let's have a
That would
heart.
help.
Okay. It would be kind of generally caretaking. And I'm babysitting Eric's grandma now periodically.
Mhm.
And so it's caretaking not just for my children, but for someone who's older and losing independence and needing to go back to being taken care of. And how do I respect as a person both someone who's not growing and maturing in their independence
Mhm.
and someone who is growing and maturing?
Mhm.
And how do I balance emotional needs versus physical needs?
Mhm. Well, that's a good one.
So caretaking.
Now, Elder Rorta would, exercising his fathering thing, would give us a tone that would carry us over Jordan's boundary into the promised land, as we had in one of the Psalms. And you can, we have a couple weeks. You can think about this. And now, theoretically,
I'll give you 2 minutes.
Tiffany has, well, you have Barzillai as an example. He's too old to be to be an advisor to David anymore. He didn't know good and evil, between good and evil. It's kind of the opposite. It's kind of a chiasm thing too, etc. And then what we need are hearts and tones. Okay, we're taking a week off for tulip time, and what we should do is within those periods of time, if we could get our initiations from, okay, we're going into, we're going from, what week are we now? Actually, week 2.
This is week 2.
So
Next
we
time
would-
will be week 3.
So next time would be, we would have our initiations from the prophet eagle time to getting us to the gospel man time. And if we could have these, what would be really good if we could do it, if we could transfer these all ahead of time, so that everybody has their stuff written out and what we can do next time is more recitations. In other words, Eric can say, well, Elder Rorta asked me this, and this guy asked me this, and that guy asked me this, and such. These are very important, and how I put these all together is such and such. And then we could be shorter, too. And then we need to write our solos, which I have some examples of a solo here. I'll email you guys. Here's my 10 words plus my 70 words. And I am day 4, so I'm using the example of the letter to the church of Thyatira, the pastor said. So I've kind of done that, and I'll give this to you guys. And then basically we basically have done very well, I think. I think we're interacting, we're one anothering each other. I'm learning a lot. That can be applied, and this caretaking is really a big thing. Big thing. So in the meantime, I will send to you what appears to be the order of speaking,
Okay.
which we have already. And then I will, and you can communicate that to everybody. And in the meantime, we'll maybe sometime after tulip time, early in the week after tulip time, we'll have send all the stuff to people, or Eric and Tiffany would have contacted you, and you transform it over to us, so that when we come in the next week, which would be the 3rd week, headed toward the 4th, we'll have all of our stuff in order, and we'll just kind of go through in order, and people will say, well, I thought this question was really good. This is a question, but it didn't quite hit me right now. You know, et cetera, et cetera. Then we would recite our 10 words plus 70 words plus 150 words, 53 words, and see where we're at there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
This is, you guys are really, thank you very much. This is good.
Do you want me to go over Pentecost?
Yes,
very quickly?
let's do.
This is my page of notes,
All right.
so it'll be quick.
This is, Stephanie, this is really great.
So the Pentecost is, I had never really researched it in the Old Testament, so I found out 4 different things that were interesting, mostly due to this super cool book,
Which is Christ.
Christ in the Feast of Pentecost. And it's referred to as the Feast of Weeks, and it doesn't mean it lasts a week, it means it's 7 weeks from Passover. And it's the only festival that the Jews were instructed to kind of count down the days to. So there's this real sense of anticipation in the Pentecost. At that time they would present their first fruits, and you find this in Numbers. And it's also called the Festival of the Harvest, referred to as kind of this joyous time of being thankful for what they have. And I thought it was interesting that the word Pentecost actually means 50. And so if you count 50 days from Passover, then you've reached Pentecost. And so it's the first fruits and the new grain offerings and the Festival of the Harvest, and you count down to it, and it's got this anticipation that's cool. And I didn't really go into New Testament Pentecost because I kind of figured we're all more familiar with that. And I didn't do anything out of Revelation because Revelation really confuses me. There you have it.
See, this is good. And now, what I had suggested that what we do for after Pentecost is introduced, questions and answers, we would have a thing where we would say, Stephanie would ask us all the same question, which is, how does Pentecost help you mature in your heart and your tone to your true speech? And we would ask her the same thing. And that would be put into our next, if we had time tonight, we would do that, but it's after 9:30.
Yeah.
But that could be put into our next time. For instance, Ascension really helps me with my heart and tone, which is I'm trying to raise us up more toward what God has promised us in the Bible, and that's a going up, like the various ascensions, and what Deacon Gonzalez had in the offerings of that paper I handed out about the offerings of the Old Covenant, kind of showed that the ascension offering had anticipation of resurrection, that kind of a thing. So that helped. That helped me, and so Hannah is trying to raise us up in music. Elder Rory is raising us up as fathers. Pentecost, of course, was a maturational point of the church where the Spirit came to lead into all truth. Pentecost for Sarah would be, I'm not sure, but it's part of God gave us these festivals for particular reasons.
Well, it was certainly a transition.
Yeah. So you see, and for when people do this next, after you guys have organized it artistically and everything, well, then it'll be much easier because we can build on what the next people see can build on what Tiffany has said about Pentecost. Maybe they'll look at other resources and have manuals and stuff like that.
I'm going to see if I can come up with some notebooks and dividers and stuff because it is